begin our look at sports with how a case of mono might have landed the New York Jets their franchise quarterback. Yes, you heard me correctly. Former Jets head coach Adam Gase back in 2019 told reporters that 14 has mono, referring to then starting quarterback Sam Darnold. The so-called kissing disease created a domino effect and has lasted 3+ seasons for the Jets. Mike White was an emergency addition during that 2019 quarterback crisis, a Dallas Cowboys cast-off. He almost opted for the XFL over the green and white, but White and the Jets, through a lot of quarterback drama these past few years, stuck together, and now here they are. White leading the potentially playoff-bound Jets following another win. We go inside the locker room for more.
It is crazy, but that's the NFL. I mean, it's me right now. I'm sure a couple years down the road it'll be someone else, and you can go to another team. It's somebody else, and that's the nature of the sport. I mean, injuries happen. A lot of things happen and change so quick in this league, and you got to be ready, and you got to be prepared, and because when that time does come, you got to be able to seize it, and that's how you can make a long career out of your journey. The only way to attack this, and in the same as last year, is a game at a time. The NFL is. I remember someone told me last year, I can't remember who. The NFL is 17 one-week seasons, and because when you win one week, you're on top of the world. You lose the next week, and it's the end of the world.
Pigskin fans here in New York can rejoice. We've got plenty of meaningful football games for the New York Jets and the New York Giants this time of year. The G-men are also trending toward the postseason and doing it in the mighty NFC East, where all the teams have winning records and are on the verge of the playoffs. Here's more.
It's definitely exciting. Dave's talked to us today, and he kind of gave us that idea that, the beginning of the season starts now, right? So everything we've done has put us in position to go for it all. So we can't get too far ahead of ourselves, but we do, it is a big task at hand that we have. Definitely, and even not even just, the playoffs and that, but just the idea of having those mentors like Michael Strahan and Carl Banks in the building to kind of even Jesse Armstead, just to give you those insights of like, this is, where the biggest guys step up, right? So it kind of gives you that extra thing to play for, extra motivation. Yeah.
If someone told you in July that both the Jets and the Giants would hold identical 7-4 records, would you have believed them? Probably not. How things look on paper can vary greatly from the actual on-field product. Big Blue and Gang Green have done a lot of good to put themselves in their current positions. The final stretch won't be easy for either team. If the regular season ends with either of them still holding on to a wild card playoff spot, they will have earned every bit of it. Neither the Jets nor the Giants were expected to be in these spots we see them in right now. The Rangers got back to their winning ways on the ice. The Broadway Blue Shirts snap a 3-game skid and a win over Ottawa. Final score, Rangers 3, Senators 1. Here's more with the Blue Shirts.
Kept it simple. I don't think it was our best game of the season, but we kept it simple. We didn't complicate. We didn't shoot ourselves in the foot. I thought, and that was good. I felt like there was, we are aware of what happened before in the other games, but I think we responded really well right after the goal, and I think even the whole third period, and did a good job with that, and build on this.
Broadway Blue Shirts just need to find consistency, and they'll be just fine. They are in the middle of the pack in the Met Division standings behind the other two locals, the Islanders and the New Jersey Devils. The Devils deserve a Friday morning shout-out. Ranking is not only first in the division, but as one of the top teams in the National Hockey League. They continue to battle Boston for the best record in the Eastern Conference. On the college basketball hardwood here in the BX, Fordham basketball has a sparkling record of its own. The Rams adding another win at Rose Hill recently, this one against the University of Maine. The Rams started slow and needed to erase a late 6-point deficit to defeat Maine. Final score there, 72-67. With the win, Fordham improved to 7-1 on this season. It is the first 7-1 start to the season since the 2015-2016 campaign. Grad student Guard Darius Quisenberry led the Rams with 18 points, while grad student forward Khalid Moore added 16 and 10 rebounds for his first career double-double. Here's more from Rosehill.
We just try to stick with the game plan that the coaches give us. We trust them, so we just try to stick with the game plan, ball pressure, like we harp on our defense. That's our identity at Fordham. So just taking pride in it, basically. So when teams making threes, we just stay the course. Like I said, we harp on attitude all the time. So that's like anything, any adversity, just staying with the course and not breaking away from each other and even coming in the tighter. Coach said everybody always be on me about being more aggressive and just taking my shot. So it just gives our teams confidence when I'm making those shots, when I'm taking those shots with confidence. To me, it brings energy to the whole team, and it just makes things easier for our scorers like Darius and Khalid. So I just try to do my part out there.
The Rams rely heavily on their trio of DQ, Moore, and Charlton. On the NBA hardwood, the Nets did have a big three at one point, but lately it's really been reduced to a big one. In one of Brooklyn's latest victories, Kevin Durant played all but 4.5 minutes. At that point, Durant had logged 844.3 minutes of playing time this season, easily the most in the NBA. Through injuries and a suspension to co-star Kyrie Irving, the Nets have relied heavily upon their best, and no one in the league has been better or more needed than KD. Durant carrying the team is a recipe for a strong MVP case, but will the Nets regret the load when the playoffs come around? We caught up with Coach to ask him about it.
You know, sometimes I have to make sure I don't take him for granted. The fact that he shows up every single day, he's ready to work, he's ready to listen, he's ready to be a great teammate. Our relationship has grown, the ability to talk to him about what's needed, what's missing. All that's been a joy. And, you know, we talked about tonight, you know, he's really the only one that's kind of guaranteed. His stretch in the first and the third, they're probably going to look the same. Tonight we had to change Kai's minutes because we didn't have Ben, and we wanted Kai and Kevin to always be on the court. So our group is evolving, and I keep stressing the ability to be flexible with the whole ideal of trying to win. And Kevin has that on his mind all the time as he steps on the floor. He wants to win.
KD for MVP, baby. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for more on another game-changing athlete right here in the Big Apple. Harlem Globetrotter Maxwell Pierce, a good friend of BronxNet, is showcasing his latest form of expression in sport, the art of an athlete. The new exhibit showcases how athletes have used their platforms and celebrity to raise awareness. Pierce describes the collection as a multi-generational look at different forms of protest through mixed athletic materials. Propelled by a deeply inappropriate live interview from 2020, Pierce channeled the extreme backlash and racist messages that he received into an artistic celebration of athletes' abilities to define their own realities beyond their careers in sports. Last week on the show, we sat down with Pierce to discuss the art of an athlete. Here's more with Maxwell on how he created these incredible pieces.
So the process for this collection was very research driven. I was definitely aware of the contributions that a lot of the athletes that I'm highlighting have made, but I wanted to be sure that I was highlighting them in a way that made sense and like honored their legacies appropriately. I definitely didn't want to miss out on key things. So I just started by selecting an athlete that I felt I wanted to highlight. And then I probably spent a few days to a week researching what they've done. And then I think about how I would connect to what they've done. It really focuses on the legacy that these athletes have left. I wanted to be sure that my vision of what I wanted to communicate through the piece aligns with what they've actually contributed. So I would think about what I want the piece to look like, and then I have to teach myself how to make that piece or actually bring it to fruition. So for example, like I wanted to make a giant statue out of baseballs, but I wanted to resemble Jackie Robinson. So I had to figure out the best way to attach these baseballs to each other, then figure out how to make the face so that its dimensions are somewhat human-like. The face for the Jackie Robinson piece alone went through like 4 or 5 different makeovers and modifications. Like I made a face, then I took it apart, then I put a new one on apart. So a lot of the process was definitely teaching myself how to make these pieces. But I think that just overall, all of the pieces are made out of equipment that the athletes use for their sport. And so dealing with that kind of media alone is going to take some time to get used to working with if you're going to make it into an art piece.
Always cool to learn about the process. Cheers to Hops Pierce on making a difference on and off the court. He's lived up to being a true ambassador of the game. That's your look at sports. I'm Bobby C. Keep it locked. More open coming back at you after this timeout.